Greetings and welcome everybody from Dr. Jane Mackenzie here live on a Thursday, where we're talking today about fascinating facts about the gut. And as I said earlier, Hippocrates talks about all disease begins in the gut, and I can absolutely vouch for that in my over 40 years of practice. Live observation of clients and research and the quantum devices that I use and all the assessments that we do every week, including the pop-ups that we do at the stores. Gut is a problem. So is backache, but we'll talk about that another time. I don't know too many people who can really say their gut is 100%. And why is that? Mainly because we are human and we have emotions. And we forget that when we're digesting, we're not only digesting food, but we are digesting emotions. So with that, I'm going to launch straight in and start off with exactly what we want to talk about. This very sensitive, very special alimentary tract of ours, including the stomach, which lies in the top, the small intestine, and then the large intestine, the colon, moving out to the rectum. So this alimentary tract is what digests our food and emotions, and it gets the fuel to the engine. It gets our food to the cell, and in addition to that, we need oxygen to the cell. Once we have food and oxygen in the cell, glucose, in other words, the oxygen and the glucose can combine together with the electrons and form energy. ATP, GTP, CTP, and TTP. All 4 amino acid peptides necessary for energy. People think it's only ATP. That's just bunk. It's absolute. There's 4 of them. So we have that in our replica RNA DNA product. In fact, we've got all 5 building block proteins for the entire body. So importantly, we need to get the food to the cell. We need energy. We need life force. Life force is our currency. We need a battery that's charged at 100%. Then we can do virtually anything. And, it's a very sad state where 6 out of 7 people have got adrenal fatigue, because that means that body is the battery's flat. And you all know when your cell phone gets a bit flat, it becomes very difficult to do anything. And once it's dead, you can't do anything. So stress is an important factor, which I'm going to be leading to talking about towards the end of the presentation. So thank you for joining me today. These presentations are all posted on my YouTube channel, Jane Mackenzie. 365 Healthy by Choice. There must be well over 300 educational videos there now. So use the search bar and look through. And I always advise my practitioners to do this because you will really learn a lot. And obviously interested clients. So these days, clients know a lot more than doctors, and that's just factual. So keep up with everything, and remember that I'm honoring you in all of your contributions to holistic health and well-being. The miracles we see on a day-to-day basis are uncountable. And, that's really my currency. Your health is my currency. That's what boosts my health and my awareness and my consciousness, and hopefully vice versa as well. So let me go through to start the slide. Now, I've talked about this, that the gut rejuvenation is very, very forgiving. Within 3 days, we can rejuvenate the entire gut wall, the entire alimentary tract. So if you fasted for 3 days, you would regenerate those cells. You would regenerate the ability to absorb. I would suggest you take a microbiome reset, a good probiotic for 3 days if you wanted to do this kind of a fast, and really reestablish your biome. Remember, it's a moving target, our alimentary tract. And the foods, the microbes are clearing the alimentary tract for us. They're digesting our food, and there's die-off, and they are leaving every day. So it needs to be replenished. And obviously we need the probiotics, the carbohydrates, the bananas, the dairy, in moderation and depending on your blood type, to house the organisms, to encourage multiplication so that we've always got enough for digestion. So one of the biggest problems with the gut and digestion, people talk about it, I'm not absorbing food. And that's true, because you're probably eating when you're stressed. You probably don't have the microbes for digestion. And if your food's not digesting, the absorption is almost minimal. So then that food lies in the gut, ferments, worms come, parasites come, and then we start getting leaky gut, hernias, ulcers, hemorrhoids, constant diarrhea, constant constipation, a mixture of both of them, and all those diseases that occur in the gut. So very, very important to make sure that you're not eating ever heated oil. There is to be no oil at the stove. If we're going to cook, we're going to use water, stir fry and steam. And if it's meat, we're going to grill it or braai it. We're going to get all the heated oil off. Heated oil contains no enzymes for digestion. It's in a free radical form. It's the trans form, which is cancer forming. And who wants to buy cancer in a bottle? I don't think anyone. So we want to eat properly, use the oils properly. I would suggest avoid wheat, even gluten-free, because there are actually 7 glutens, and they remove one and they say it's gluten-free. It's not. There's another 6 glutens still in the wheat. So even when I was 16, I did a project on wheat for school, and it was already hybridized. It was already then considered, an inferior food. And of course, it will attract fungus when it's stored. So be very careful, especially in wet weather. So we want to avoid the wheats. We want to avoid heated dairy, which is pasteurized, which is nearly all dairy. A raw dairy's got it's another food almost. It's another dimension. And again, not 3 times a day. Yogurt and kefir are pre-digested dairy, which most bodies can cope with. But it's the whole the turmoil that's created with this multiple array of foods that get eaten at any one time, the huge fork of food that goes into the mouth, the lack of chewing, the lack of presence, the lack of consciousness when we're eating, the lack of awareness that we're eating to heal ourselves. And therefore, none of this happens properly. So we need to be very aware that from our mouth to our butt is an outside tube that needs to be squeaky clean at all times. Otherwise, we're going to get dis-ease. And once you've got a leaky gut, the organisms, the large undigested food particles go into the blood, and then they're going to go anywhere because the blood will carry them all around the body, including the brain. So the gut-brain I'll talk about a little bit later. So we need to really treat our gastrointestinal tract, our alimentary tract with huge regard, because without it, we're not going to get food to the cells. And then, living becomes a problem because the parasites will generally take over. So digestion begins with the eyes, the computer in the body, in the brain. The release of the enzyme and the pancreas starts happening already just visually. Sometimes we smell the food, and then the tongue tip taste. Because once the tongue's sensitized to the food, the computer knows exactly which enzymes to release. And as we're chewing, those enzymes start getting injected into the stomach, the small intestine. And we need to chew from 20 to 30 chews per mouthful. Who does that? Not when we're sitting in front of screens and driving and so on. And I think we need to be really still when we eat. We do need to be grounded. Eating in the air, eating in transit is not a good idea. It's hard for the body to digest food like that. So always wait until you're stationary. Don't eat when you're stressed. That's one of the rules of the stomach. And as we swallow, I talked earlier, some people can't swallow. The food sticks here because the body's already repulsed. It doesn't want that food in it. It knows it can't digest it. It doesn't know what it's going to do with it. So some people, I talked about a client who washed his food down with water for years. And it was the only way he could get his food down. The reflux was too great. And my other lady, yesterday, I was talking about them wanting to put a pacemaker into her rectum. She already had one in her heart, and they were going to stick the pacemaker at the back of her towards the rectum on the outside. She wasn't allowed to bath for 2 weeks, and it was going to measure her I suppose, the movements in her alimentary tract. But this was all because there was flatulence. And she was a bit upset because it was embarrassing and she couldn't find a boyfriend. She was 70, by the way. So this was going to be the world solution to her, to put a pacemaker in her rectum. I've now heard everything. So I said to her, please come. I met her at a store and I said, let's put you on the quantum skio, QUEXED, EPEX, and let's see what, your subconscious tells us about the root causes here. And lo and behold, I knew already it was food. So it was diagnosed as Crohn's disease, which is sensitivity to wheat, intolerance, allergy, and heated oils. Her gallbladder was absolutely blocked in the red. So somebody talked about the gallbladder a bit earlier. If your gallbladder is not producing bile because it's blocked because of stones and parasites and things, you cannot digest oil properly. And it just keeps rising in the blood and in the gut. And you will then have a very yellow stool. That's called stratorrhea, which is bile in the undigested oil bile in the stool. So very important that, the body is seen as holistic and we do everything we can to help digest and absorb the food and then eliminate the waste. And the probiotics are our friends here. We cannot live without them. We're 90% probiotics. So that microbiome reset with 80 to 120 live strains is crucial. As I said, if you're going to do a fast, and you're drinking water, put the microbes in because it's going to actually accentuate and elevate the fast for you and the repair. So in the stomach, we get a peristaltic movement and we're going to get a degree of absorption. The stomach will form the food into a chime with the peristaltic movement. And when the food's ready, it will then, the pyloric valve opens and it enters into the small intestine. There we will get some good absorption if everything's good. And the peristalsis needs to keep moving. So this is the gut brain. Most of it is the small intestine. It looks like the brain even, all the little tubes. And here we need good peristalsis, good movement through, and good absorption of food, getting the fuel to the engine. And then when that's done past the appendix and up through the large intestine, we'll get still needing peristaltic movement and absorption. And you won't believe how many people are blocked. And you won't believe how many people have virtually zero microbes in them. Our ancestors knew about this. There would be a fermented cheese or a fermented cabbage or an idli or a miso on the table, all ready to help the body digest because it's a moving target. So we need to replace these the organisms with fermented foods, with organisms themselves on a day-to-day basis every time we eat. So we'll eat a large pizza, no problem, white flour, and all the garlic and everything else that you want in it, I'm not saying, and expect our body to just digest the pizza. It's very difficult. And then we start getting reflux because all of the wheat and we ate too much and we've distended the stomach. So we are the culprits. We are the ones who are not serving our alimentary tract and getting the food properly digested, properly absorbed to the cell for energy and letting the waste come out. And then we wonder why we candidates for gastric flu, for gastritis, for viruses to breed, worms to live in. And then we're wondering why we've got parasites and things all over the body. So, the main area for parasites and viruses to come into the body would be through the nose and then through the mouth. I mean, they might get them through the ears, I'm not sure. Maybe through the skin if they're different kind of modified viruses. But seriously, you're going to breathe them in or eat them. So I think that just puts that in place. And with all the consultations that I do per week, and there are many because we do stores as well, this is a key area for the beginning of anything. And that's where I'm with Hippocrates on this. We have to, from our mouth to our butt, it should be a clean pipe, a clean vessel. It's outside of us. And we wouldn't have debris and mess on our skin. So why do we have it inside our gut? And why do we mess all these little villi? See, so that's where we need that replica RNA, DNA again with the 5 protein building blocks to come in and repair. But if you're taking your probiotic, you're heeding what you're eating, you're taking the flaxseed oil, you should get perfect digestion and you will be happy and you will sleep better. We do need to adhere to the rules of the stomach, which I'll come to now. So these are the kind of infections and diseases that we see. Malabsorption, I've talked to you about. It's maldigestion. Take some probiotics, build your serotonin levels, your adrenaline, your serotonin, dopamine, your GABA levels, vitamin B, vitamin K. Serotonin is the happy hormone. The clients that come in that are sad, anxious, or depressed get probiotics. They create the happy hormone. 95% is produced in the gut. The reflux I've talked about, your body is telling you, don't put this in me. I cannot eat it. So what do? We go and get a tablet so that we can eat these foods. And we defy the body. We don't listen to it, and it gets worse. And that's when the hernias, the ulcers, the hemorrhoids start. We need to eat when we're peaceful. Otherwise, how are we going to digest? We can't digest emotions and the food if we're in an emotional state. We can't, because we're digesting not only the physical food, but their digestion of emotions. So this is when all of this comes, and then the food doesn't digest, the parasites and worm comes, and then we'll get diarrhea or constipation or both. Irritable bowel, SIBO, Crohn's I mentioned, dysbiosis, leaky gut, and then we start getting that gut-brain really disconnection. So if you are constipated, I'm telling you, you're going to have brain fog, poor memory, poor concentration. It goes together. And if you've got poor low concentration brain fog, you will have constipation. It's just about, or a diarrhea. It's a given. I don't even have to ask people. I know already. So if you want a clear brain, work on your gut. And remember, the Chinese call the gut the second brain. I actually call it the first brain, because when we're doing our work and we want to be peaceful and centered, it's the heart and the gut that where we focus. We leave the brain out of the picture. So very, very important knowing that the food is digesting in our alimentary tract, and the emotions for that matter. And then if that's all perfect, the brain will be functioning well. If there's any questions, let me know. Okay, rules of the stomach. So here's quite a few. And I've got chickens, and they will not eat after 6 o'clock. It doesn't matter how I tempt them. I've tried. They will stay on their perch. They will not jump down, because they know automatically that food is toxic. After sunset, food becomes toxic. And that's a fact. So we should be eating, no later than 3, 4, 5, 6 in the afternoon. If you really need something after that, a piece of fruit, I would suggest. But not even. You don't even need that. The food needs to happen. If you're doing fasting and you're eating late at night, well, you're messing it up. It could be a lot better for you. So if you're doing the fasting and you're following autophagy, then you should be doing exercise at night and eating in the afternoon. Just to say, I've got a wonderful video. I will post it. So the rules of the stomach: eat before sunset. Don't consume liquid half an hour before or 2 hours after your meal. The body's computer has already secreted the enzymes for digestion and the hormones. And if you then consume liquid in any form, and especially cold drink, that's probably the worst thing you can ever do, is put ice with your drink. You make the whole gut cold. The gut must be on fire to digest. It needs the energy. So don't dilute those enzymes. Don't bring cold in. You can drink 2 hours afterwards, not a problem. Have your coffee then as well, because if you have coffee with the meal, you upset the pancreas, because the pancreas at a certain phase in digestion will secrete bicarb, alkaline, when it's ready. And if you take coffee, the bicarb gets secreted too soon, and it interferes with the pancreas. So people with pancreatic problems, we know pancreas is linked to all sorts of things, including blood sugar. Don't drink coffee with the food. The coffee break comes 2 hours after food. Okay, and then with your coffee, you'll take your spirulina and your pinch of salt on your tongue. And then it's not a diuretic, and then the coffee's carried some good food to your cells, for example. Okay. Also rules of the stomach, like I said to you, avoid the heated oil, the wheats, the consistent heated dairies, very, very important to eat properly. Fruits should be eaten on their own. And that's because it's very quick to digest the fruit. And if it doesn't move through the gut quickly, it's going to ferment. Fermentation means forming alcohol. So some people are alcoholics and they don't know it because of the fermented food. A byproduct is acetaldehyde and alcohol. So fruit is always on its own, in particular watermelon and all melons. I mean, it digests in less than half an hour. So there is a case for food combining if you're having very, very huge problems with your gut, and that would be not eating a complex protein and a complex carbohydrate at the same time. So meat and pap, meat and rice, meat and white potato, bad news, because the meat takes too long to digest, and then the carbohydrate starts fermenting. So if you really are having major problems, you can have protein and salad and steamed veg, or your rice with your salad and your steamed veg on separate times in the day. I don't advocate it long term. I don't really advocate it for children, but if you've really, really upset your gut, do that. It is a clean way of eating. Very important. So those are the main issues. Don't eat when you're stressed. And general nutrition we'll follow in a moment. So let's go now to what's eating you. This is the emotional side of it. When we eat, and let's say when we were little, we were all eating at a house or something, and we had, let's say for argument's sake, spaghetti bolognese, which is mince on pasta, and we all ate a lime milkshake. And everybody got on their bike and they went driving down the road, and one of the children hit a rock and went colliding off the front of their bicycle and landed up in a ditch or whatever, quite sore. When that child eats spaghetti bolognese or a lime milkshake, unconsciously they relive that emotion. So most food allergies are emotion related. We are remembering without knowing it, an incident. The teacher smacked you and you just had a sandwich with, chicken and something in it. When you re-eat those foods, doesn't matter in what form, you will be reliving those emotions on an unconscious level. And that is what Professor Desiree Dubonnet told us at the World Training Conferences that we went on. So allergies are emotional. Intolerances are because the food's toxic to us. The body can't tolerate many processed foods, overheated. And then foods with MSG, pesticides, colorants, etc. So they would be intolerances. So we're going to digest sadness, anxiety, depression. We're human. We're going to experience emotions. And that's why I always say eat very lightly or little or not at all when you're hungry, because the digestive processes slow down. And then the food will become toxic and ferment. Some of the emotions would be anger and bitterness, and that would be relating to the gallbladder and the liver. Fear will be the kidneys. With sadness being the lungs. We might be in greed, having resentment, having hatred. So hard to digest our food when these emotions are so high. Very, very hard indeed. Root causes. I've talked a lot about nutrition now. Get your blood group. If you don't have it, you can pop into my center and I'll help you. And eat those foods. They're non-inflammatory. Easy to digest, easy for the blood to carry, keeps the cells apart. This whole thing is about life force, currency, and the charge of your body. And if the cells are stuck together, if you look under the microscope, there's all rouleau, the cells are stuck together, they don't have a charge. They don't have a charge, they will not absorb your food for you. They will not absorb the oxygen. So everything is about charge. We're electrical, we're a battery. Okay, get on the earth, put your bare feet on the earth, because that's going to charge you. The sun photons will charge you the mostest out of everything. That's what people are running for infrared saunas. We have them. We know. It charges the body, charges the mitochondria. We start getting energy production. And we need to look after the adrenals, because if we've got adrenal fatigue and the battery's flat, we're not going to absorb or heal. So lots of nutrients are very good. The probiotic is the number one nutrient for the gut. And flaxseed oil I've mentioned, because that's going to help absorption. And then the detoxification process the probiotic will also detox. It will scavenge heavy metals for us. It will boost the immunity against infection, not only for the gut, but the whole body. And zeolite is excellent. Oxygen is excellent. Herbal parasites are excellent. So I'm going to show you some of those in a moment that you can put in your toolkit. Stress, I've talked about that. It's linked to emotions, and the oxygen is just not near the stomach. The stomach works with the parasympathetic nervous system. All right. When we're running from the line all day, the sympathetic nervous system, the oxygen is in the limbs, because we need to move, we need to run, we need to hide, climb the tree. So if you're eating when you're stressed, the oxygen and the blood supply is not directed towards the stomach. Hard to digest. Lifestyle, that will be takeaways. And many of the clients, come in and tell me, how they eat. And it's, really, really distressing to hear this. The amount of fast foods that get eaten, and that's our own lifestyle. It's our own fault. And that food is fried. When you fry food in heated oil like that, especially carbohydrates, you get an acrylamide forming, a plastic. We eat it. So huge reverence for what we're putting into us. Remember, if you're eating takeaway food, it's made by someone else. If they were stressed, the food is going to carry that frequency, so that you're going to be eating stress. If you're eating food that's grown with pesticides, hormones, antibiotics, you will be eating that. You will be eating the stress of the animal, basically. And, you could argue plants, but I'm saying mainly animals at this stage. So in any event, we wash our food. We wash it with the oxygen and purify it as far as possible. Get the hormones out, the antibiotics out, the pesticides, the glycophosphate, and the genetically modified foods. They are very problematic, because a genetically modified food is modified with the gene that our body doesn't know about. And it's normally some form of a protein which can get right into our genetic code. So very, very dangerous. So for example, if you eat a corn that's genetically modified to ward off pests, at sort of, for example, week 3, that corn will start automatically producing substances to ward off the pests. When you eat that corn, you become a pesticide producing factory in your gut forever. So people who can't get the gut clean, you've got to use an oxygen, because how else are you going to get these out? Not possible. So just to be warned, genetically modified food is problematic. And that famous study where they looked at rats and they fed them genetically modified tomatoes. And they cut the rats open after about 2-3 weeks. The gut was bleeding. And many of them died after about the 4th week. Those tomatoes went onto the shelf. So sometimes they will put, for example, a fish gene into a strawberry, or a fish gene into a tomato. So you're eating something that's not in the quantum field. It's not recognizable by the body. It's not a food. And you're expecting the body to digest all of that and to be healthy and normal. No, it's not going to work like that. So in any event, corn is a no-no on my list, and so are peanuts, because they're both stored. Corn cause blastomycosis and lead to a dementia. Peanuts will have an aflatoxin, which is neurotoxic as well. So when they're stored, we can't eat these foods. Just some little bits of fascinating facts to share with you. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're digesting this well. If there's any, how do we identify? Okay, well, the foods that are genetically modified are definitely soya, definitely corn, cotton. Remember, we wear the cotton pickers end up in hospital, some of them, because of the GMO. You can't pick it up, and it's not forced. So therefore, you would try to get certified organic food and grow your own. Natural corn, if you pick the corn off the cob and eat it, it hasn't been stored. Great. These are good questions. Eat it. If you grow the green tea bush and you take the leaves, or the lemon verbena bush, and you make your tea, no mold. The minute you store it, you're going to get mold. Mycotoxin, neurogenic, neurotoxic. It's hideous. So you need to wash your food in the oxygen, because it's the only way you're going to move this out. I mean, if you want to try and get mold out of something, you need a heat of over 500 degrees. I don't even know if it's Fahrenheit or centigrade. I can't remember, but you need one hell of a heat, and even then, maybe not. So we need the strength of the oxygen drops to kill all of this. And you can smell the food. You could smell mold. And if you're going to make your millet or your quinoa or your sorghum, your rice, you need to soak it for 3 minutes. Do yourself a favor. Your almonds, soak them. Macadamia nuts. You must be nuts to eat macadamia nuts. They are sprayed to hell. Until 4 a.m, my friends tell me. The blueberries. There was not a chance a blueberry or a grape or any berry or any fruit is going to pass my mouth without me washing it. I will not do it. I can feel it on my tongue. And I worked in Mauritius before. I think I've told the story. And I watched, because I worked from a health center, and you could see down the valley. And in Mauritius, you get allocated pieces of land, like in many other countries. And the one owner will spray on a Monday his patch, and of course the pesticide goes onto all the veggies or the fruits or the pineapples. The next day, the next one comes next door and sprays. The next day, the next one comes. Of course, I'm at the top of the mountain. All the pesticides are getting blown up to where I'm sitting anyway. The mosquitoes are biting me with all the toxins in them as well. And I can feel inflammation. I can feel I'm starting to swell. And then when you eat that food, the locals in Mauritius told me they can sense and taste the pesticide when they put the food in their mouth. It's not only, I'm not singling out this country, it's everywhere. So if you don't wash your food, you're eating blindly, and you're going to get neurotoxicity. And that'll lead to Alzheimer's and dementia, that kind of thing. So yeah, everything's getting recorded. All right. And the gallbladder I've spoken about, it's just a reservoir of toxins. It's got to come out. So we've got to look at our lifestyle and when we eat and how we eat. Okay, now let's get into something very interesting. Now we're going to have a look at products. All right, and I'm going to move on to them one by one. So this is a group of products that I've put together. Almost all of them are on sale right now. And this is the month of April 2025. And I'm just saying that because my videos are watched indefinitely. So anyway, the probiotic, the microbiome reset, it's got over 80 live strains, actually 80 to 120. Okay, it carries a certificate of analysis. So Japan bought the certificate of analysis. They bought certificate of analysis for an effective microorganism brew. They happen to have it. Okay, so the mother comes from there with 80 to 120 live strains, natural in the microbial clouds of the earth as the earth revolves in which we live. So it's good for plants, animals, insects, and humans. We second generation brew it. And I'll show you about that just now. So hands down in the stores, the clients tell me, the customers, that the microbiome reset is the best. Hands down. You're not going to find something like this. It is a gold standard when you see what I've added to it. There's nutrients in there that are not even documented. So the gut microbiome plays a role in digestion, metabolism, and inflammation. Reset your gut biome and boost your immune system. The second generation fermentation of live products, probiotics and enzymes with these nutrients to boost immunity. And this is a little bit small. I'll enlarge it. So it's food state, most important. It's not manufactured. Nobody sat there and pulled out organisms and here's one or here's two or here's at most 10 or 11 or 12. It's not freeze-dried. It's in the food state. You store it in the cupboard, in the dark, preferably away from a plug, because they will die if there's an electric field. And we sleep in an electric field. We have electric fields around us all day and expect to thrive. Not possible. These will die if you put them in the fridge, from the cold, but also from the electrical field. So we've got all these strains and substrains and millions of colony-forming units. And no manufactured probiotic can say this, least of all the ones on the shelf, because most of those, 90% the studies say, are not even alive. And then you need to take it half an hour before you eat to try and grow some of them. These are facts. The second generation fermentation, it's got more nutrients than, as I said to you, are ever even documented. And because I've added, I'll show you a little further down what I've added, things like algae, all the algae, chlorella, spirulina, blue-green, the pollens, the medicinal mushrooms, the kelp, zeolite, adaptogenic herbs. We are getting foods that carry their own natural innate microorganisms that surround the food into this brew, and it's amplified, potentiated. More beneficial strains are in there and more nutrients are made. Undocumented. Okay, then I'm going to move to this one. Supports the gastric tract by producing beneficial bacteria, viruses, fungi, and actinomycetes. So as the volume, whilst it's an anaerobic preparation, as you displace the volume, as you use the probiotic, the volume gets bigger and oxygen comes in. So you will get some beneficial little white organisms, aerobic, that live on the top of the solution. This is an absolute natural effect of the natural effective microorganism. And of course, it's got live enzymes. Well, what better chance does your food have of getting digested? It will digest. And some people are safe 1 tablespoon 4 times a day, 3 times when you eat and before bedtime. Drink it out the bottle if you have to. It's got a lovely lemony salt sort of a flavor. Fruity. All right. It's eco-friendly, health-enhancing microbes found naturally since ancient times for animals and plants as well. Scavenges the pathogens, the genetically modified microorganisms, and the heavy metals. Yay. Will boost the low immunity, boost poor gut health, their discomfort. I've had clients who come here, I pour them a glass of the probiotic, and instantly there's relief. And they've had a tight stomach for 3 days or so and pain. It's instant. Intestinal bloating, instant. Blockages, that will happen. Poor digestion of food improves that. Improves absorption, we've talked about. Improves vitamin B and K levels. B is water soluble. It's always low. Vitamin K is essential because parasites dissolve collagen, and collagen needs vitamin K4 to make it. And the low levels of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the neurotransmitters. So we have to have those to fire the brain, to feel fine. The serotonin is the happy hormone. Dopamine is the will to do things. GABA balances the brainstorms in the brain. We all have lightning brainstorms. If we don't have enough GABA, then we can tend towards seizures. And if your gut is polluted and blocked and there's an amoeba living there, the amoeba eats all of this. All your vitamins, all your serotonin, GABA, dopamine, neurotransmitters, all your good food, and just multiplies and secretes toxins 24/7. Bring me an autistic child, I'll show you amoeba. They probably picked it up in the sandpit. A depressed person is going to have an amoeba living there. So, of course, our oxygen gets it out. I'll show you that. So, the microbiome reset reduces acidity, reduces inflammation, gets the heavy metals out and the insecticides and the pesticides, and will raise antioxidant levels. Wow, that's a lot. The macadamia nuts, well, you know what? You take your chances because it's absolutely sprayed. I think it's the most sprayed nut out of all the nuts. And there really are other options. Just don't use an oil that's not cold pressed. It's in the free radical form. It's in the trans state, and that is going to be cancer forming. It's going to damage the DNA, the heart, all the organs. So my answer to oils, cold pressed. On a day-to-day basis with your meals for absorption, you need flaxseed oil. You need flaxseed oil to form a protection layer around your cells to stop the viruses and toxins entering the cell. The other oils do different things. The flaxseed oil has the highest life force. So the spin, the electrons are closest to the proton and the neutron of all the oils. Life force is our currency. That's what I want. And forget what you've heard about sea oils. It's nonsense. The flaxseed grows right here where I live, right here where I can walk in the fields. It's not deep in the depths of the ocean where it's freezing cold and it's not dense. It's in the right ratio for the humans, omegas 3, 6, and 9. It's in the right ratio. And it will move to DHA and ALA automatically for us. EPA, no problem. Okay, that's another discussion. Now I'm going to move to the gut cleanse. We're talking about restoring and cleansing our guts. And this is a magic formula. And there are just so many things in here that are going to help and heal and restore and cleanse the gut. We've got the gentle Cascara Sagrada. And that one gently gets the motility, gently moves the food out. It's not a hell of a big hit on the stomach. That's why I love the Cascara Sagrada. We've got Triphala in there, which is 3 fruit enzymes, natural. Slippery elm, especially for soreness and pain, soothes it, forms a little gel there. The reishi mushroom, especially for the gut. MSM or DMSO, the sulfur, very important for the lining and for detoxification. Comfrey for detoxification. Bee pollen will bring its own antioxidant, own oxygenation in there, but also will remove anything to do with infection or allergy. But it brings in oxygen. Parsley, balancing the gut. Caraway seed, ginger, peppermint, wonderful for digestion. All of these. Kelp, helping the oil digest. Spirulina, turmeric, anti-inflammatory, and stinging nettle. So it's going to do 150 other things as well as clean your gut. But this is a wonderful herbal detox, and it's going to go together with, here you will do 1 or 2 capsules morning and evening, depending on the severity. So you could start with 1 and then see if you need 2, or start with 2 and then move down to 1. And then the cell oxygen here, magnesium oxide. So in the gut, when you consume it, the oxygen splits off. The magnesium is lovely and relaxing for the peristaltic movement of the gut, the parasympathetic nervous system. By osmosis, the oxygen enters through the intestinal wall into the blood and gets carried to the other areas of the body. But while it's in the gut, it's sterilizing, it's cleaning. So there's no resistance to oxygen. You cannot build up, an organism cannot build up resistance. It's like breathing. You're not going to get a resistance to oxygen. So very important. The oxygen will be antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and it's going to help remove the toxic waste just by purifying. So it's best taken on an empty stomach between 1 and 3 capsules a day. So you could say half an hour before food, preparing everything for you. Great product. So we've done the probiotic, the microbiome reset. Just to go back, the probiotic, the microbiome reset, go and look, it's on sale. the gut cleanse, go and look, it's on sale. And you could, last month we did the liver, this month we're doing the gut. So hopefully the livers are cleaned and hopefully the gallbladder is cleaned. If it's not, buy the gallbladder flush as well. And do it once every 3 weeks to really get the bowel flowing. Bowel flow is life flow. And now we're talking about Parastop. So you will have heard a lot about Artemisia, the wormwood, the black walnut hull, and the clove. Now this is available in tincture form. The powders are better. Okay, hands down, the powders are better. So we've got this in a capsule, 1 to 2 capsules morning and evening. Finish the bottle if you feel you need another one, depending on the colonies, depending on how long you've had it. The stories and the pictures that I get from people taking Parastop are hideous. You must see the little noddies and the little jimmies and everything that come out of people's gut. It's incredible. Along with the ropes of old debris that's been lying in the gut. So we've got to clean this gut. We do need a clear gut. And one of my all-time faves, Zeolite. So if we have a look at Zeolite Mind, the Zeolite 8 Detox from 365 Healthy by Choice. So the 8 is there because in zeolite you get an octagonal ring, which magnetizes the toxins out, in particular uric acid, but all the toxins of the body. Eventually it will clean the gut. It will then pull the toxins from the liver out through the gut. The uric acid continues and all the other toxins come out. So it's really, really strong. So the zeolite from 365 is extra strength. It's powerful, it's double activated, and powerful medicinal benefits such as detoxifying the body, removing heavy metals and other toxins and parasites. It literally magnetizes them. So we're using the fermentation of the microbiome reset to kill and remove, the oxygen to kill and remove, the gut cleanse herbs to kill and remove, the parasite herbs to kill and remove. And condition, obviously. And here we've got the zeolite working in a magnetic way. Can you see how powerful this is? 5 major products. I would just add the flaxseed oil in. There's a comment there about ava oil. Again, I mean, what are you wanting to do with it? And in moderation, never, ever heat oil. Don't ask me that question again. If the ava oil is in a see-through bottle and it's been on a shop shelf, I'm telling you now it's rancid. Because the light that comes in from the shop is going to do that. And I see it on my microscope. I see the pools of oil lying there. MCT oil, I see it lying in the blood. Olive oil, I see it lying in the blood. How come? When they made the olive oil, was the vat left open to air and light? Maybe. The most highly sensitive oils are the animal oils. Be very, very careful. I'm not saying don't eat butter. Eat it. It's awesome. It's full of vitamin D and K and all wonderful things. But it must be raw. And then when the veggies are cool, you can dab a bit on. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay, so go back to nature with everything you do. Before you ask me or go to Dr. Google or whatever, is this natural? Is it in the food state form? Is this how it was in nature intended it? And you'll have your answers. Close to nature as possible. It's called food state. And if it's food state, it's in the quantum state, the universal field. And that means the DNA is intact, the intelligence is intact. That means that it's going to be received by the body. The body doesn't have to change it at all. it can use it immediately. And it will use that natural intelligence to heal you. And that natural intelligence is not only physical, it's also emotional, neurological, and spiritual. The plant knows what to do. It has natural intelligence. If you've interfered with that, you've then reduced the product to literally a physical form only. It will physically work on the gut. It's not going to work in the other areas. And those of you who know about holistic healing, we're always dealing with physical, neurological, emotional, and spiritual. You cannot get away from it. And we're always working in the quantum field. The field of wisdom, the field of healing. Okay, so the zeolite is going to then improve digestion, yay, and absorption, yay. It's going to boost the immune system, we want that. It's going to balance pH levels, fantastic. It binds acids, it binds uric acid and takes it out. So those people with high uric acid, kidney, gout, sore joints, limbs, bones, etc., here's your friend. Day in and day out. It's not like activated charcoal that you should only take for a short while because it takes all the goodness out of your intestines. Zeolite's an ongoing thing. Reduces inflammation, yay. We don't want inflammation, we don't want acid, and we want high oxygen. Then we're not setting ourselves up for degeneration. Supports overall healing and well-being. Yes, it does. Some people say it flattens the stomach. I know one of the people in one of the stores loves it. It will ward off EMF radiation. So they built a pillar out of zeolite and they measured the radiation. Someone stood to the side of the pillar and they had a radiation measuring device, and then they stood behind the pillar and the radiation went right down. So yay, you're going to be deflecting EMF and radiation all day long. What a win. The magnetic field of zeolite will connect you with the cosmos. Right, so promoting overall health and wellness. 1 teaspoon a day in a glass of water. Take it anytime you like. It doesn't matter. Some people like it in the evening. Some people like it first thing in the morning. It doesn't matter. I don't advocate more than a teaspoon. It's very, very strong. And then let's see here. Yeah, so ending off, we've got this wonderful sale, and you can go and see many of our EMF earthing mats and pendants are still on sale. The foot soaks. Those of you, you can put the zeolite in the foot soak. You can put the oxygen in the foot soak. We've got a wonderful citrus 4-salt foot soak or bath. And it's got the citrusy neroli and grapefruit in it and the 4 salts. You don't get that. So I'm really proud about that. So that really ends what I wanted to say today. Let me just see if everything is on here. That's good. Anyway, I'm very glad that I did restart it so that I've got it all properly. I'm going to download it now, and then by tomorrow you'll get it. And any further questions, applied to the skin. Zeolite, I think you're referring to zeolite applied to the skin. Absolutely wonderful. So it is, in fact, in our skin biology regenerate range of products. There is the clay, which is a zeolite. And you will drop a few drops of water on it. You can do a face exfoliation 2 to 3 minutes, a bit longer if the skin is oily. If the skin's oily, please go and do a gallbladder flush because those free radical undigested oils are coming out of your skin. They're going to cause wrinkles and they're free radicals. So no such thing really as an oily skin. So yes, you could leave it on, absolutely. And you don't have to put it on your face. You could actually put it on the inside of your wrists and leave it there all day. It will detoxify you all day. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. So thanks for that. And hope I've answered some of your everyday questions as well. And thanks for coming in. It's always an honor. And it's been a long one, but I think this is a great one. So thanks for that. And as you know, I'm here to help, to advise, to guide. I'm not here to heal you. Please remember, physician, heal thyself, you will heal you. I can plant the seeds and you'll water them. It's up to you. Thanks so much. See you next time.